Hey, dinner's ready.
I'm not that hungry.
You haven't been yourself lately.
I know.
I feel like there's this distance between us.
I'm sorry.
No, it's no one's fault. We've both been through a lot. I've been thinking.
You sure you're ready?
Yeah, sure. I'm really sure.
Oh, sorry. I can't.
It's okay.
Felicity, I don't see you any differently. It's nothing like that.
What's wrong?
It's me. It's like I'm stuck in my own head. I can't explain it.
It's okay.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Now, I don't know if you've heard, Sophie, you do not need to move to California to have it all.
Do we not?
No,
When did that happen?
that's a
Right, hang on.
lyric.
Cancel flights. Oh dear. Hold on
How
to
are
this
you?
moment. I feel a little
Feel a
better.
little better.
Has that been in your? It's been my earworm all week. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Apart from that, it's all good. How are you?
As lyric songs go, it's pretty catchy. I'm all right. Are you?
Yeah, I think so. Glad it's the weekend. Long weekend. Whoop whoop.
Yes. Bank holiday here in the UK. Any plans? We've just been talking, haven't we? How rubbish
Not
it is, the weather.
really. I was going to say, I had a look at the old weather forecast and it looks a bit shite. So
Does
I know
it?
it's a very British thing to say, but it looks like we've got rain here tomorrow and on Sunday. It's typical bank holiday weather, really, isn't it? So we should be used to it. But
Telly then. Telly and
yeah,
chocolate.
can't complain about that, really. So
No, that's true. I have done that for the last couple of weeks, so I think I might try and do something else.
Yeah.
Try and do something around the house, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had planned to go to the park, but maybe not now then. Maybe
check
not.
the forecast. It's just not looking very good where I am, but you never know. You never know.
Maybe you're in a Sophie microclimate.
Possibly.
Cloudy rain.
Oh dear, it might just be me internalizing how I feel, and the weather's just like, oh, me too, me too. Who knows?
Well, we know how that feels. How's Home and Away been this week? Have we watched them all?
I have quite enjoyed this week, actually. There's been a lot going on, not like high drama or anything like that, but there's been a lot of storylines that have been happening. I found it hard to kind of keep up with everything that's been going on this week. There's been, little storylines here, there, and everywhere, hasn't there? Really?
Yeah, there's a few plates spinning, isn't there, right now? I like it when it's like that, though.
Yeah.
I sometimes get a bit annoyed, frustrated with sort of two big blocks and nothing else happening. As exciting as sometimes they are. I quite like a few plates in the air. So yeah, do you want your headlines?
I do.
Alf causes a media storm after gate crashing the Stunning Organics press conference. John and Irene are talk of the bay. Don't know why I said it like that.
Gyrene.
Tane and Flick have a much-needed heart-to-heart. Remy wishes he would have listened to Brie as Mercedes plants a wet one on him. And Marley finally accepts help.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
Now, Marilyn, she's rounding up the troops at the start of the week this week for this big press conference that they quite easily managed to relocate to Summer Bay, the place to be for press conferences. So much happening.
I know. Oh, it's mad.
Everyone, all the press and everyone just sort of said, yeah, not a problem, we'll commute there. Not an issue. And she's rounding up the troops. So Kirby, she'd get over here. Stunning Organics, it's about to go down. So Kirby runs over, not in so many words, and the new CEO starts her speech and calls Maz on stage. Remember, she's just taken over the company and she's trying to rubbish the bad reputation they've got from previous bomb-making CEO, unnamed, but he has a shoulder. And so Maz is the big sort of pawn in that game, isn't she? Because she was so vocal online. If she is seen to be endorsing this new Stunning Organics, this new direction, everything will be good. That's the big corporate plan. However, Maz and Alf have got different ideas. And as soon as Maz gets on stage, she swiftly gets Mr. Stewart up, who pulls out this huge board of Rue in a coma. I mean, pictures.
I know. Where did he get that printed? In fact, someone on Twitter actually tweeted us that. I think it was Sarah, 30th floor, said, "Where in Summer Bay do you get photos printed like that on a giant piece of paper?"
I've got a Kodak shop in
Vistaprint. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet he's got a photo book to go with it. And, Key-rings.
Key-ring in a fridge magnet. It's set and it's cheaper. Yeah.
It was funny. And he's saying, you aren't going to fob me off this flaming company are rotten to the core. And he hijacks the press conference. The press are lapping it up, aren't they? And Marilyn's even saying they even bribed me to be there, which seems to sort of tip the balance a bit in their favour. And ultimately, this press conference is an absolute farce. All sorts of hell breaks loose. The CEO is trying to escape, isn't she? Running out for the horizon, out of the surf club. They're chasing her, screaming at each other. And basically all comes to a head. He's like, look at my daughter. He's waving this massive board around with a picture of me on it. And she says, I don't care. She lashes out. I don't care about her. It's all been caught on film, And Maz is like, aha. Finally, we hear the truth, and and the press soon pick up on it, and they start running stories. It's going to make the 6 o'clock news. Another front page spread in the Coastal News. Ding, 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 ding. Klaxon. This old dude is a legend, the Sun called it. Now, it seems to put an end to the company. We later find out that shares have dropped. They're going into liquidation. Droves. They've been leaving in the droves, Marilyn says, after reading online. Is that the comeuppance deserved for you, Sophie? Is that the end? Do you think that's... they've got their just desserts, Stunning Organics there?
I guess so, in a roundabout way. I mean, I still think it's really bizarre. But, you know what I mean? Like, this guy... He is Stunning Organics. He was the CEO. He was linked to the company, and they tried to kind of push it under the carpet and just say, "Oh, he was a one-man crusade on his own, nothing to do with us," and try to sort of shirk that responsibility. I'm sure they've got legal responsibilities, not just moral responsibilities, legal responsibilities for what's happened to Rue. considering it's one of their employees, or their CEO of it, or not just an employee, but the CEO, who's created all this drama and all of this. Like, I just don't understand how they can. The whole press conference was bizarre, because it was like, how can you possibly think, oh, he's in prison now, that's it for us. We'll just give Marilyn some money to come to a press conference. Why have they got why has nobody else been charged with anything, or why is there no investigation going on? I don't get why there's no police investigation. I still find that really bizarre. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to Jenny it.
Yeah, and go along with it. I agree, and you know me. I've been saying to you, haven't I? I wanted a twist. I wanted a link to maybe the cult.
Yeah.
I felt like just a begruntled CEO, because he lost his job, was a little extreme. Happened to know how to make a bomb all on his own.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a stretch. So I completely agree with you. And you're right. Where's the rest of the investigation? Where's the where's the law part of it? Yes, the company's going under, but actually there's a bit of a moral thing attached to that. Now I'm actually saying it out loud, because all the ambassadors are going to lose their income, and then this whole thing creates a lot of trouble for other innocent people who were trying to make a living.
Yeah, so they should be responsible for that, shouldn't they? They shouldn't just be. It shouldn't be that they can carry on as if nothing's happened and go, "Oh, it was him. It's all him, and nothing to do with us." They can't do that, because they employed him. He got Marilyn's address through working there. There's so many things that they are responsible for. It's not just this lone wolf. They have responsibility, but also, like you say, people now are losing their jobs. Ambassadors are forced to leave. The company's going to liquidation. Where's their responsibility for that? For those people that have got that loss of income, for their reputation going to pieces? I don't think, if this was real, that it would happen like this. But Jenny, I'm gonna have to, because
it's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah.
I just have to go with it. But I'm like, this storyline. I've enjoyed it, I'll be honest, because I've enjoyed the craziness of it, the fact that it did get to this crazy bomb. It's been enjoyable, because it's been nuts, hasn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah.
The enjoyable part of this storyline is that it has been unbelievable, literally, and nuts. And that's why you can't pick at it too much, because if I did, then I wouldn't have enjoyed the storyline, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, to enjoy these types of stories, through and through, you can't pick at them. You've just got to accept what you're given.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll drive yourself mad. And then, like you say, what's enjoyable about picking something to pieces? You're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, we do it everywhere. That's what we're here for. But
and I think, like you say, like your theory that it was something to do with the cult. I think if they'd done that, I know they don't do this in Home and Away. They don't sort of tie up these storylines and combine them. They do this block storytelling that we talk about. It would have been so much better if they had linked it to the cult somehow. You know what I mean? It would have been really good if that would have been such a good twist. And would have been like, wow, and that kind of would have made sense, because then it's not just some normal company, it's actually got this evil undercurrent of it being this doomsday cult as well. And it'd be like, well, of course it's an evil company, because it's been, it's the money's coming from this doomsday cult, so that would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? Whereas this is just like, we're supposed to believe this is a normal, like, skincare company that just had one bad apple, and now this has happened, and it's just really, that's what makes it unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a stretch. And also, had it have been that, it would have explained as well how the cult were able to afford things, and the company could have been the front, if you like, to like you say, that criminal undercurrent. It just would have been so good. Just would have been good.
You need to get on the writing team. I'm going to petition for it.
I'll have to start practicing my elphisms. I think I've had enough years of practicing those, eh?
I was going to say, we'll reel them off. It's all right.
Long story short, this old dude is a legend. He's done it all. The social's been deleted. Marilyn's happy this chapter of her life is over and she's moving on to the next drama, no doubt. So as far as we're concerned, we're done. We're done with it. Now, something that's far from done. Jyrene. We've got to talk about Jyrene. Talk of the week. Talk of the internet. Talk of you name it.
Bay.
Been the talk of every dinner time in this house this week. It's, the talk of our WhatsApp chats. You name it. All I'm hearing about is Jyrene right now. Now, John is a dab hand in the kitchen. He made that lamb roast.
Yeah.
Last week. He's got cookbooks. He's planning a lovely dinner.
Oysters, though.
Oyster. Well, you're my aphrodisiac.
I know that is like love food, isn't it? Love.
I know. Food. I was thinking that. I was like, oh, I've just shuddered again. Oh, it's gone down my spine. That. Now we'll get on to what happens, but the first inkling we have of, outsiders, shall we call them, Jyrene outsiders, thinking something's going on is when Theo overhears them planning one of these amazing slap-up dinners that John's been cooking for Irene, or not cooking because he's too late and the shop's shut. It's when Theo overhears them in the diner, and he looked, I don't know if you clocked it, he looked violently disgusted.
He did. I think I've actually got a screenshot of it on my phone. I'm going to send it you for lyric, songs of the week for Sunday for Instagram. So yeah.
Storylines to music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll have to get thinking about what I'm going to do for that then. But yeah, that was the first sort of inkling we had that this was going somewhere. And, Maz has also picked up on it. She's noticed they're a bit closer than usual. They're having conversations. Irene normally can't stand the fella, even though they are good friends. Yeah. She's normally really quite, flippant about him, isn't she, and a bit sort of dismissive at his ways. Xander's spotted it. You'll notice later in the week Xander even spots it. He starts telling Mac, who burst out laughing, probably the same reaction most of us had watching. Now, Jyrene's been a topic of conversation on this podcast for over 12 months now, I would say.
Yeah.
What I want your sort of opinion and reaction, I think, before I share mine. I want it. I think it'd be good.
I do know you want it.
And I know it turned your stomach. So how have you found all this?
I'm enjoying it because it's not real. I'm enjoying the fact that it's, they're fueling this rumor. And from the viewer's point of view, we know that John's opened up to Irene and said, I'm lonely, I would have died a lonely man. We know all that. We know why she's being a bit softer with him, but they don't know why. They don't know that he's opened up and said he's lonely and he's struggling and everything else. And they don't understand why she's changed her behaviour to him. So it makes sense. It does make sense that they've put 2 and 2 together and made 5. And I am finding it bloody hilarious because of Marilyn's reaction to it, especially the fact that she is what I thought would be the case, seemingly jealous that it's happening. Yeah. So I am enjoying it from that point of view because I think it has been bloody funny. But I don't want them to become a real thing. No way. No way.
It looks like Emily Simons looks like she's about to burst out laughing any minute. Like it looks like they had an absolute blast filming these scenes, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, can you imagine?
When she dropped that thing on the, when she came into the diner, into the kitchen, and Irene's on the phone to John, and she's going, "Oh, I can't wait to hear that naval story," and Marilyn drops like this tray of cutlery or whatever it was onto the worktop so hard, like what? And I just died. I just thought that was hilarious.
And it's when she's whispering to Al, she's like, see what I mean?
Yeah, look over there. Look over there. Don't look right now. No, not right now. It's so funny. And Alf was just, I love the fact that people have poo-pooed it immediately. Alf was saying to Marilyn, they've been mates for ages. Why would they start getting together now? That's ridiculous. And Mac was laughing at Xander and going, "Don't be stupid. They're really good friends." Some people aren't believing it, but then when they're seeing it, because obviously John and Irene have been told by Marley that people think they've hooked up, so now they're going, we know that they know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they know we know. They know.
We know. They don't know we know that we know.
Yes, you're right. Marley lets the cat out of the bag, doesn't he? And this is after sort of Mac and Xander have a bit of an experiment. Where she takes on John and she's like, "Who are you taking as a date?" And she's trying to get information out of him. Xander's the same with Irene, obviously having that relationship with Irene, and this makes John and Irene come to this sort of a moment of realization, as well as obviously Marley saying everyone's talking about you hooking up behind your back. So they decide to have a little fun with it, don't they? And honestly, Irene is classic here. I've giggled all the way through an episode today, just like Irene pretending she's on the phone to John, like you say, wanting to hear more Navy stories. These things that like completely infuriated them for 15 years. See you later, darling. Brushing his arm, giving him a little kiss. Right in view of. Did you say something, Marilyn? Oh no, doll. No,
doll, that's not me. Oh, okay. Oh, that was so funny. So, are you thinking then? So, obviously, my view is this is hilarious because it's a joke, and that's the way that people are reacting is really funny. But I still don't want them to couple up. I still don't want that to be real. Are you thinking then that you'd still like to see this turn into something romantic for real?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I think as well it's starting off as a joke. They seem to they've realized that the company is better than the loneliness that we've talked about heavily on this pod. I think why not?
But and it's starting off as a joke. They don't have to do the sex, do they? They don't have to.
They don't, but can you imagine?
No, I don't want
to imagine. I was going to say, can you imagine John the morning after skipping to work?
Oh no! No, I don't.
Irene in a wheelchair.
Ice pack between her legs. Oh god! No, I'm not here for that. I eat my dinner when Home and Away is on. Oh no, I am finding it very funny, but I don't know whether I could actually cope with them doing it. For real.
I tell you what would be good while this joke was going on, because this Jet's wedding's in 2 days' time, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But this
exactly
talk of
2 days.
Exactly 2 days.
Sorry. Oh, that was a different wedding. Sorry. Oh god.
It would be good. I mean, we're not going to get it, but it would be good if we got the whole wedding and Irene was there and winding Marilyn up for all day, getting in the photos. And
I'd love it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see it, unfortunately. I think it's
going to be off screen, isn't it? And we're going to hear about it.
Yeah. And I think the joke might stop before the wedding, because otherwise, Marilyn's making up for ex-flames and all sorts that she's taking. And she said, "Oh, he's tall and he's smart." I'm like, "It's Lancey. It's Lancey." Literally, he's smart. That's his name.
Yeah, his name is Smart. That's about as far as it goes. He wasn't the brightest bulb in the box, was he? Let's face it.
No. He had his strengths.
He did. They weren't in his head, though. Oh dear.
Now, Andrew, he and Tegan having a good chat, getting to know each other, aren't they? Catching up about old times, and reminiscing about Ted and memories, what little memories they've got. They've got a lot to fill up, haven't they? A lot of time to catch up on. And it all is looking good. Theo comes home. They all go to the beach together. For a walk to check out the surf, and we get to see more. I could watch Andrew at the beach for hours.
Fully clothed, frolicking in
that
the
doesn't
waves.
matter. It's just the pure joy on his face.
It just makes me laugh so much because everyone else, obviously, that goes in the water, we see them with the shirts off and bathers on and whatever. And I just love the fact that Andrew just runs in as he is. I just think it's hilarious. It's so funny.
Maybe he's sun safe.
Maybe,
conscious about the sun.
Slip, slap, slop, or whatever it is.
It's an important message.
It is. I just think it's like that carefree childlike innocence that he's got, where he'll run in with all his clothes on just because it's fun. And I just think it's so cute.
I know, it's like every time he's there, he's discovered it for the first time again, isn't it? I think that's why I think I just smile every time we have these scenes with him at the beach, because I just think it's just pure joy, of discovering this, and you think what a shit life he's had. And he's experiencing something that we all enjoy, but we all take for granted, being able to go to the beach or whatever. It results in this lovely conversation at the beach, doesn't it? Where they both basically agree, we've had a shite life, but it's okay now, to summarize it.
Yeah.
And all this is happening down at the beach, and Justin's just not thrilled at all about Tegan, is he? He's wary. They've already let him go on with fake mama, so he's wary, and he's really not happy about this Tegan. He's not warm to her. Leah's constantly having to talk him down. He's scoffing at at her, talking about her rental apartment in the city that she wants Andrew to go move into, with getting a DNA checked with missing persons, and behind her back, and you're just thinking, like Leah says, you need to dial it back. Like, you're being way too intense. Like, it's family, it clearly is, it's been proven. And he says to Tegan, it's all moving too fast, you've only known him 2 days. But you can understand from her perspective as well that they've missed out on so much time, that you're going to be excitable about wanting to hit the ground running. I can get that, but I also understand Justin's trepidation as well. So it's a bit of a sticky one.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Justin, actually, because I can totally understand. He feels responsible for what happened last time. He feels responsible for handing him over to the cult, and realizing afterwards that they're really stupid and they should have checked her and everything else. He doesn't want to do that again. He went through something traumatic to try and get him back, so he's probably still got that in his mind as well. But also, I got a bit cross with Leah this week. Telling him to back off, because she was like, "Oh, back off and leave them alone." And I was thinking, if he let him go, if he let Andrew go off with Tegan, and it turned out that they hadn't done their checks and she wasn't right for some reason, and I don't think that's going to happen, but say it did, Leah would throw that back in his face. Last time she was like, "Oh, you didn't go and get him, you didn't save him, you didn't get him out of there, you let him go with that woman." Like, she threw it all back in his face last time. She'd do it again this time. The first person to criticize Justin if it all went wrong again would be Leah.
You're absolutely spot on. She literally shouted at him, "How could you let this happen?
Yeah.
How could you send him away with that woman?"
Yeah. And how could you not go and get him? You had an opportunity to go and get it. Because the first time they tried to get Andrew out of the compound, and they had to come away, didn't they, with the tail between the legs and come up with another plan. And he told her about it. He said, "I went to see him." And that's when he found the note in his pocket and everything. And she screamed at him. She said, "You left him there. You didn't. That was your one opportunity to get him out. You left him there." She turned on him. I mean, she apologized later, but I can see that happening again. And I'm not surprised that he's thinking, "I don't want to cock this up again." And Leah, you're the one that can back off, love. I'm sorry, but
it's classic Leah.
Classic Leah, you hypocrite.
Classic Leah, yeah. Classic.
I'm watching for it now, because before I would have let that slide, but now you've told me to watch out for it. I'm looking. God,
you can see it all now, can't you?
I can't. She's under a microscope now.
You've had your awakening.
Definitely. I can see her for what she really is. Yeah, she's a tricky one.
She is. Now she basically says there's this awkward scene where Justin sort of sits her down, having spoken to Leah, and obviously explains his trepidations and his worries about, just freely letting Andrew go. And she says to him, "You don't know what it's like to lose family." And I'm like,
oh, awkward. That was awkward.
I
did a bit of a, who's going to tell her? Who's going to tell her his whole family's dead?
Yeah, I sort of started looking at the ceiling thinking, oh, God. And then I thought, I need to dust up there.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, very strange. But she sleeps on it. What Leah said to Justin sort of makes him a bit more welcoming, because she says, "I'm not staying over if I'm not welcome." And then Andrew starts to panic, because so she does stay over, long story short, and sleeps on it. And she thinks the next day, yeah, maybe it is a bit fast, we'll dial it down a bit, but just to make you aware, like, he's my brother and I want to start building a life with him. And I thought, very grown-up way of approaching it, I'm going to set my intentions out from the start. This is only going one way. He can't stay here with you forever, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Now, considering and all the while this is going on, I'm thinking Leah the other week sounded like she wanted to adopt him.
I know.
And now she's the one that's quite happy to say, "Go free, my child, go forth."
Yeah.
Hasn't the table flipped a bit here?
Yeah. Well, I think they felt responsible for him, or at least Justin does still feel responsible for him. And I suppose we can't ignore the fact that Andrew needs a lot of help still. He's an adult, essentially, or almost an adult now, who hasn't been schooled, hasn't had a normal life, is struggling with the real world, and has got this Vita Nova on his shoulder. He's always going to be looking behind him, looking for someone coming from him for the cult. Maybe Leah's thinking, if he goes off with Tegan, none of this is our problem anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
From a selfish point of view,
Well, and all this camera business. Yeah.
I don't know. As much as they might love him, he needs a lot of help to get him back to, a normal life, I think.
Somebody else getting a lot of help. Flick. She's been to the second counselling session.
Didn't hate it. And she seems to have turned a corner. You were saying, weren't you? You called it. You were like, she's not given this counselling a chance, and she needs to really sort of stick at it, and give it a good proper go. It sounds like she might be doing, and it does sound like it is something that is helping her this week when we revisit them. It's a process, she says, and she's on it. She's on the process. She did say process. I heard that as well.
Yeah. I twitch it. It's like when someone sends you an email with organise with a Z on it.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it autocorrects, doesn't it, to that? So I kind of forgive them.
I know, but then take it out.
It does. Yeah, I don't like it. It gives me the ick. Change
your language on the old Outlook there. Do you know what I mean? Come on, people. Anyway, it's Tane's struggling though, isn't he? He's very detached. He's very insular. You can see, Cash can see it. He's deadly silent, and he's there in body, but he's not there in mind, is he? In these scenes this week,
he's definitely there in body, because we saw him in the gym. Sorry.
He's definitely there in body. I mean,
that punch.
Shall we discuss?
I don't think I can. Oh dear, I lost my mind during that scene. I was like, when he was talking to Cash, I almost texted you, but I knew you hadn't watched the episode, and I was like, I don't know what they just talked about because all I was doing was looking at Tane and his beard and his arms. Oh dear.
Do you prefer Tane with the beard? Because the beard's a new addition, isn't it?
I like the beard.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you not like the beard?
I don't know.
I like with and I like without. I'm not fussed, but I do.
Can't do anything wrong.
You can't. You could grow another face, and I just don't like him. Yeah.
We're jovial, but actually, we're talking about him really struggling with, the aftermath of Felicity's attack, and Cash has clocked it. He's gone to the gym to see him, just to check in with him, like bros do. And he says this isn't about me, it's about Flick. You can tell he's stewing over this whole thing. He's running through, his face says it all. It's the guilt of not being there. He's running over what coulda, woulda, shoulda been had he not gone with his blooming cousin to blooming New Zealand. You can just see it's written all over his face. Cash is then reporting back to Flick and says, things like, you need to remind him that you're there for him, because you've got the counsellor, you've got him, but who's he got? So it gives her a bit of a kick up the arse, particularly now she's in a bit of a place herself to sort of do something about it. So she suggests bunking off work and they go home. Now, this is where I'm struggling a bit with these two, because everything seems to be like, if we can make love, if we can do the deed, it means we've got somewhere. Yeah. Like that seems to be what we're measuring this on. Is it just me?
So. Yeah, no, that's the impression I get as well. It's almost like they're saying, if we can just have sex, then things will go back to normal because we've had sex since it happened, and then it kind of didn't happen. And it doesn't, I don't really understand the logic of that. It's almost like she wants to sleep with him to kind of blank out what happened with the other guy and go, well, that's scrubbed out off the chalkboard now and Tane's back. I just don't think it works like that.
No. And also, and what it says to me is, I think it devalues their relationship because it's telling me that that's sort of what their relationship is. And only is like, and surely it's more than that. I mean, I've spent 12 and something months investing in it, 2 weddings. I think I'm there. I'm power couple of the bay. Like, and I think it's devaluing their relationship a bit. And I'm a bit frustrated with that element. Because of course, like you say, this doesn't go well. She then says, "Oh, I've been thinking," and then tries to make an advance on him, doesn't she? He says to her, "Are you sure?" Again, we've heard this before when after it first happened, but then he's the one that puts a stop to it.
Yeah.
And says he can't do it. Now she is a little bit more receptive this time. She's a little bit more. Do you remember last time? And I was saying to her, this seems bad, but she's not thinking about what he is going through either, even though obviously like awful thing happened to her and she's every right to think about herself in that moment. Like, I'm not taking anything away from that, absolutely not. But I think there was a bit of a lack of realization earlier, a week or two back, of the impact on him. And I think now it was good. I needed to see her realize that it affects him as well. I felt like that was a good thing to show. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. It's tricky, isn't it? It's a tricky one because, like you say, I can see it from both points of view. I can see it from Tane's. He's thinking the next time he sleeps with her, he's going to be thinking about what happened to her. He's not going to be focusing on that moment and what's going on then. He's going to be thinking the last person that did this with her, forced himself on her, she was unconscious. You're not going to be able to not think about that. It's,
of course not.
You're not. And then obviously you're going to be worried that it's going to trigger memories. It's going to upset her. It's going to, you're going to do the wrong thing. It's making it into a much bigger deal than probably what it is. But I think it's normal. I think it's a normal reaction, don't you? I think what Flick's doing is probably not normal.
Yeah,
No, that's
Yeah,
not the right. It's not the right word, but you know what I mean. I think.
normal's not right. Yeah, but I know what you're trying to say. And I think I put myself in Tane's shoes, being the fella, right?
Yeah.
So I would automatically, in my mind, do that. And I don't think I would do anything different. Like I do think I'd be worried about the same things you've just listed.
Yeah.
Like, and also I think I'd be a bit confused about how I feel about, you know, am I good enough, like, to protect this person? Am I, you know, is this the right thing for this person? Like, do I need to? You're sort of mourning your previous relationship, because it's sort of like your relationship's now changed forever through no fault of your own.
Yeah.
Either of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I find it quite confusing myself.
And
you
don't want to pile on the abuse either, do you? You don't want to be part of the problem and like set her back or feel like you're also an abuser because you're trying to sleep with someone that actually has gone through something really traumatic sexually, and you don't want to trigger any it's really difficult.
Of course, absolutely, spot on.
I think they both should be in counselling. I don't think it should just be Flick, to be honest. But
I agree. And well, nobody's sleeping, are they? They're up in the night. Tane's down the punching bag, giving you what you need over tea time. Sweaty, punchy.
Not complaining.
Let it all out, love. Let it all out. And what ends up happening is, through all this sort of worry and tiptoeing around each other, they end up having quite a frank conversation on the beach. And I love these because these remind me of Home and Away of old. You know, these walk and talks on the beach. I mean, absolutely dubbed because of the sound. Do you see it now? I've told you about it.
I watched the lips now. I didn't used to watch the mouths moving, but now you told me, I'm like, oh, it's so obvious.
So if you can get past that distraction. But this is a really important moment, isn't it? And it seems to be the turning point in this whole crap show. And from there, you know, they seem to be able to start to build something back towards where they were. They even then go home and straight to the bedroom again, which we've just lent on, you know, like we don't. This is the only thing about them, like. And then, did you notice it was flipped? She asks him if he's sure this time.
Yes.
Not Tane asking her, and then he says yes, and then they do the deed. So it was like. It was like it needed to. I thought that was quite a nice, clever way to do it. You know, like she's looking after him now. You know, it's a two-way street. Quite a good way of portraying it. I just don't know whether it needed to be sex is the reason why we are what we're measuring this on. If that's the right phrase to use, I just don't know. Whether that's the be all and end all.
It's the most obvious thing, isn't it, for the storyline? It's the obvious go-to, isn't it? But like you say, it kind of cheapens their relationship, and also it kind of ties into these. I've read out loads of comments on Your Say on the Bay this year about the bed hopping, the sex. You know, lots of people saying that they're turned off by this, literally. You know, and go and turning episodes off because they don't like the kind of the sexual content of Home and Away and all these young people hopping in and out of bed. That's, you know, that is some people's opinion. I don't necessarily hold that opinion, but some fans don't like this aspect of Home and Away. They don't like seeing, you know, the bed hopping scenes and the people loved up and all over each other. So it's, I don't know. It feels a little bit exploitative, doesn't it, with this? It
does. And sex is important. Like, I'm not sort of saying it's not important, blah blah, you know, getting on my high horse. I think sex is important, particularly when you've been married for such a short space of time.
Absolutely.
Gets less important as the years rumble on.
But it's only been a couple of weeks really since the attack, hasn't it? It's not like
like I think
what's the hurry?
Why we're running to the bedroom?
If they're really, you know, like the husband and wife, if they're really there for each other, for good, for bad, better, for worse, whatever, for the rest of their lives, what's the rush?
I know. Start with it like a meal. Like, just start with, let's watch a film and let's just do,
have a date night.
Like, let's just do life.
Do something that we used to do before all this happened. Like, try and feel normal again. But I suppose maybe this is their normal. I don't know. Maybe they are that kind of couple.
Well, but we didn't see that before, so. Well, we did occasionally, didn't we?
There was a lot of. They did get a lot of comments on Facebook about their bedroom antics and how it was too. A lot of people were very pleased with how much was going on in the bedroom.
Well, there's always neighbours. No, we're kidding. Shut up. I'm sure it happens there too. I'm sure they're allowed to do it in Melbourne.
I'm sure they're allowed. I'm sure it's not illegal in Melbourne, but there we go.
Right, so recording has also began on Lyric's debut album. Band manager Justin even was tempted to show his face. Not that Mercedes knew who he was.
Who's this guy? Oh dear.
Oh, Justin. Don't you just want to smack her? Ugh.
I do, but that actually did make me laugh. When she went, "Who's this? Who's he?" I did laugh. I was like, I don't like you, but that was really funny.
He actually raised some valid questions, though. Like, you've got no producer, no engineer. Like,
you don't know what you're doing.
Catch?
You don't know what you're doing. He did, but I don't think he realised that they're not, like normally he goes around the band house and they're all, really close, really happy, laughing, looking forward to something. This would be exciting. But he doesn't realise they're all fighting, falling out, snipping at each other. And he just kind of walks in and kicks a hornet's nest and goes, "Why are you doing it like this?" Like, it was really bad timing on his part, I think.
Yeah, read the room, Justin, read the room.
Oh, bless him. He's so clueless.
He's only gone round because he's just sort of dawned on him that he's dropped the ball. You know what I mean? So they go to the Big Smoke anyway, don't they? To this recording studio in the depths of the night. and a Mercedes is looking at Remy like a snack all night.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to eat him up. And didn't I say last week that she's going to get him alone in the night dark studio?
You did.
And what did she do?
Blind Freddy saw this coming.
Didn't he just? So, the end of this recording session, very successful recording session, it looked like, didn't it?
Yeah.
Got the song stuck in our head for days.
Hold on to this moment.
Everyone's splitting up.
Can I tell everyone about your voice now?
Oh God. Don't play it though.
I was going to say, gonna play it. No, I won't play it. But I did get a voice note which I've favorited from you on WhatsApp of you singing the song to me, serenading me. I love it. Thank you very much. I appreciated that.
You're welcome.
I was having a bad day. It cheered me up massively.
I do send you some shit.
I love it.
So they're all going off separate ways, aren't they? Splitting off, celebrating the night, and Mercedes thinks, I'll give Remy a massage.
Yeah, no, she stole his beer first. Did you see that? So he was drinking beer and she kind of swiped out of his hand and drank from the bottle, and I was like, "Ew, COVID, hello."
That didn't make it to the bay, remember?
Oh no, it didn't. Good point. Yeah, they don't know about COVID, do they? And then there was the massaging, and I was like, "Hey up!"
Was the same.
It's not really what you do with your mates, is it? I don't know. Am I just a bit prudish with my friends?
No. Right. Okay. Right. Let's add a bit of context into this make-believe scenario.
And can we also come back to tickle fight times as well, and remind ourselves that
Oh yeah.
Cash had a problem with Eden and Remy, but apparently Brie would be fine with all this shenanigans. I don't think so.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, Sophie. This is why we have you around. Right. Just scenario, right? You've got a partner and the partner's raised some concerns about a friend of yours who is, they think they're up to something, they want you, and there's been this whole jealous talk and you've nothing to worry about, we're just friends talk, and then they give you a massage. Like, is your alarm bell not ringing at that point?
Yeah, my alarm bell would be ringing, and I'd find it very uncomfortable. I don't really, I can't name one friend that's ever massaged my shoulders. Maybe I'm the weirdo, but it's just not something you do with a mate, is it? I don't know. Maybe I'm old-fashioned.
No, not one that your partner is sus of. Let's put it that way. When you're alone in the night, and then you're like, oh, legend. Like, no, you, Remy, mate, you're not that stupid, right?
No. Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, he has shown himself to be a bit thick, or I don't know I don't even know if he is thick. I don't know whether he's just choosing to ignore it this week. Because maybe he doesn't want Brie to be right. Maybe it is that, because what's happened after this has proven to me that he doesn't want to tell her, because he doesn't want to hear the "I told you so." He doesn't want to have to admit that she's right about something. He's really messed up, and maybe at this point he's clocked it, but he doesn't want it to be true, because he doesn't want to have to think, my girlfriend was right, I should have listened to her, and I'm an idiot. Is this a bit of a bury the head in the sand and still believe it's not happening thing? I don't know. He's just it's gone down in my estimations a bit this week.
He's gone down in mine quite a lot. I mean, it took him a long time to get up.
I remember.
Sorry, you suffered all that. I think there's a part of him that wants it too, based on.
I don't think there is, because what I did like about this was the fact that he immediately went, "No, what are you doing? Like, you've got this wrong." Pushed her away. There was no.
This is when she kisses him, isn't it? Not the massage. This is when she kisses him.
Not the massage. Yeah, I think at that point he was being a dill. But when she kisses him, I was really impressed that he immediately shut it down. He didn't even entertain it for a minute, and he was like, "No, like no." And that's the one thing he's done right this week, is he immediately shut it down when it went too far. But after that, he's just messed up.
Well, I agree, but I think it's opened his mind a bit to it. See, for me, I've got the old Remy in the back of my mind, right? Footloose, fancy free, womanizer, town to town, women on each arm, right? And then he changed his ways for Brie, didn't he? Never felt like that before. Changed his ways, but does a leopard change his spots? I might ask. So,
meow. Yeah.
And I think this whole thing. I think he backs off from the kiss because he knows it's a wrong thing to do. But I think he might a little smidge of him wants it. And I think afterwards, because when Eden says to him, because he opens up to Eden quite quickly, he's like, "What am I going to do? Like, I'm flapping," and she's like, "Well, you've got to tell Brie because you've done nothing wrong," and he doesn't tell her. And to me, right.
I don't think that's because he wants Mercedes. I think that's because he doesn't want to have to admit that Brie was right. I think he's gaslighting his girlfriend.
Yeah, I think he's doing that, but I also think just him being scared of her saying "I told you so" is a cop out. She's already disappeared, Mercedes, at this point, so it's not like that the album's ruined, because whatever he says, whether he owns up to it or not, like, there's a chance the album's ruined anyway, like, because Mercedes has gone AWOL. When Eden says to him, "You did nothing wrong," because he's chosen at this point he had an opportunity to tell her. It looked like he was going to tell her because she smells a rat. Everyone's acting awkward and strange around her, and she asks him outright, "Did something happen?" And he says, and he lies. And I think, why lie if you don't feel like there's something worth covering up? Is my take on it. So I feel like he's now started a lie, so he probably could explore it.
Really? Oh, okay, that's interesting. I hadn't seen it that way. I'm not sure. I see it now you've explained it. I guess I'm sort of set in my opinion that.
In your opinion, yeah.
I think that he just doesn't want to admit that she was right, and I think that that's a really toxic thing to do to her.
Yeah, which I do agree with, but I think this is another element to it. And I think Eden says to him, "You did nothing wrong. You should have told her. Now you've done something wrong because you've lied." So it's already now it's started. The chain of events has begun.
Yes.
Like, what's going to happen? Because now, at any given moment, she could turn up and just go,
"Oh yeah,
we kissed."
Yeah, and then
she's got all the power
version. Now. Yeah, she could tell her version of it. Oh, and he kissed me back.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't tell you. Like, she's not going to believe him because of the fact that he's not told her about what happened. He's a liar, whatever happens now, isn't he?
Yeah. So I think he might just, throw caution to the wind a bit. I sit there and think to myself, if he wasn't even an ounce tempted, why put himself through it? Why not just take the "I told you so" conversation, explain that I've shut it off and she's disappeared and I'm going to have nothing to do with her, and deal with the short-term consequence of Bree being upset about it, and and work through it. Why not just do all that? Because now it's so much worse.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. I can see your point totally. I just think I don't think he wants to have that conversation with Bree. I think he's one of these people that he'd rather just live a no drama life and sweep it under the carpet. He doesn't want a week of Bree going, "I told you so," and like being insecure and like having to bring her back, because we've been down this merry-go-round before, where Bree's run away insecure. He's had to coax her out of a shell. I don't think he wants to do that rigmarole again and be told, "I told you so." I just think he doesn't want the hassle of dealing with Bree. I honestly think it's that. So he's just going, "Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, like the violin thing's just not working out." He's just telling her a pack of lies just because he can't be asked to deal with her, because she will be insecure and she will be dramatic about it, and he can't be asked to deal with her, I think, is the thing.
Yeah, you might be right. Well, you are right, and I think that all that's coming with it, but I do think thinking like a bloke thinks.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it that way, but I think you've got a point. It could be, yeah.
But also, I'm feeling a little bit like for Bree as well. Like, get rid, love, now. Like this is, you know what I mean? After all you've been through and what you've had to put up with for years, like, and all this going on, and like. Come on, woman, get rid of him. Get shot. Like, she deserves better now. And
do you think maybe she knows that? Because the little bit that's in the back of my mind about this is that Bree is so insecure about Mercedes because Mercedes is actually right. So when Mercedes said to Bree, "You're nothing like Remy's exes. You're not the type of woman that he normally goes for. You've got nothing in common." All those horrible things she said to Bree about their relationship. Maybe she's right, and maybe this is why Bree's insecure, because actually deep down she knows that her and Remy are not really compatible.
The writing's on the wall.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to break up?
Yeah, I do. I do, because there's no trust, and when there's no trust anyway, and then you lie, like what future have you got here? Like. I think they were so intense so soon, and given the situation Bree was in, I think, like those relationships that are just so mad at the beginning and so intense, and there's a really unique situation that forces people together, and then eventually, like, everyone's sort of cracks start to show, and everyone sort of shows their cards. Eventually, like, I think it's one of those scenarios, and I think Remy still got that womanizer in him.
Yeah, you might be right. Would you actually care if these two split up, or do you think actually they'd be better off not being together?
Good question.
If they do, if this all comes out, so Mercedes comes back to town and she says, "Oh well, did he tell you about our kiss? Last night in the studio or whatever." However it comes out, Brie goes mad, leaves him. Apart from the fact that we're going to have to suffer through that for a week or whatever, would you mind that they split up?
I don't think I do, actually. Like, no. I think I'm pretty passive about them as a couple. I don't feel connected with Brie anyway. I don't know what it is about her. I felt sorry for her and her domestic abuse, and that was about it. Like, yeah. I feel pretty disconnected by her. I think she should leave him. I would be like, yeah, girl power, come on, like, when it happens. But that would be it. Like, I wouldn't mourn them as a couple. What about you?
I think I agree, to be honest. I think I feel the same way. I was really rooting for them when they were an affair.
Yeah.
Which sounds awful, but when they were, sneaking around behind Jacob's back, and I wanted her to leave Jacob, I wanted them to be together, I wanted it all to work out, and now it hasn't set me on fire. We have had a lot of ups and downs with them, which have been a bit boring, and I don't find them the most exciting couple in the world, and I do think actually Mercedes has got a point in a way.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of foreshadowing. There's a lot of talk about them not having the same interests,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of foreshadowing going on, isn't there? So we know, we can pretty much guarantee it's going to happen.
Yeah.
At some point. It'll be an event. Whether it be a non-event is up to you, viewers. Now, I don't know if you've heard, Marley's still alive. He's still going.
He's still got a dodgy ear, but yeah, he's still going.
And Rue's awake, but we'll just that's all I need to say.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit.
Marley is alive after his dip in the ocean last week. And Max paid his rent for him, so she's got wind that he's got some money concerns, because remember he got his rent frozen from Alf the other week, last week, was it? So that sort of took a bit of the strain off, but he seems to be really sort of struggling, treading water here financially. With which we didn't understand last week. If you listened to last week's podcast, we were a bit confused about that. But Max paid his share of the rent, and he takes right umbrage with it, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I can kind of see his point, that he's got that pride than that independence. And to be honest, Mac has that as well. So if someone had paid her rent, I think she'd probably react the same way.
Yeah, good point.
But
well, and she does take it back when he transfers it back, so you can see why. Yeah.
It's a nice gesture, isn't it? It's a nice gesture, but it didn't go down well, did it?
No, Rose is even offering help, both financially and physically. And you're right, he's stubborn, she calls it. Stubborn and proud. I've written proud in caps here. I don't know if that was an accident or what. But he's been really impatient with his recovery, and I'm starting to get a little bit itchy about it. I'm just like, mate, it's a couple of weeks of your life.
Yeah.
She had some great ideas. Don't be refunding these lessons. Like, store credit, like anything to keep the cash in the business. I'm thinking she's got some great ideas here. Somebody else can do the Ujima lessons.
Yeah.
For you, and things like that. I'm thinking, listen to her rather than just shooting her down all the time. It's not often I'll stick up for Rose, but I thought she had some good, helpful advice for him, and she just wanted to help.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, why doesn't this geezer go to the bloody bank?
Yeah, get a small business loan or something. I don't know. Yeah. You called it last week. I think you were reading out First Look to me on Sunday night, and you said something about Marley needing help and financial problems and everything else. And you said, there's plenty of people that can do the surf lessons. Mac could have done them, Xander could have done them. You actually predicted this outcome anyway. So
yeah,
it's taken them a long time to come here. If we talked about it last week already.
true.
It seems pretty obvious. Theo can surf. Justin would have been able to help if his leg wasn't dodgy, so he's out of the running. But Matt can surf. Xander knows more than a newbie, so he can. And isn't most of the surf lessons when they start? Isn't it on the sand anyway?
Yeah, haven't we had loads of big deals made in the past about not being able to go in the water because you only just started learning?
Yes,
Like
Marley could do
done...
all the sand lessons.
Yeah,
I'm saying sand lessons like that's a thing, but you know what I mean? Like all the lessons that are not in the water.
Yeah.
He could still be
exactly.
doing the proper newbies, and then Mac and Xander and whoever could help. And we called this last week, didn't we? Well, you did. You specifically. I tweeted it this week and said that this was your idea, and he's pinched it. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, and this whole pride thing, not wanting to ask family, I sort of get that because I think that's how I'd be. I think I would sooner gnaw my arm off than ask for family for money. Yeah. I really would. I'm a bit like that. So I did actually, fall on his side with that. I did connect with that thought process more than sort of Rose did. Rose has always been, round with her brother, and they've obviously lent on each other. She's more used to getting and receiving help and giving help to each other as a sibling than than Marley is, or than I am, for example, with my siblings. Yeah. I would, the last people on the planet I would ask for any money from are my brothers. Like, I don't know about you. So I really did feel,
but only because my brother's terrible with money. He probably hasn't got any to lend me.
So do you know what I mean? I know, like, that's what families are for. Families will always help, but I would never ask for it.
No.
Like,
and I'd rather ask for help. The way that they are now helping him by running the surf lessons or whatever. I'd much rather that than actually have a handout. Yeah.
Agreed. So everything looks like it's on track. They're all happy. The lessons are back up and running. He's not having to refund them all. He gets a little bit swept up in a mindless moment and says that he loves her. He L-bombs her.
Does he though, or did he say "love ya"?
Love ya, love.
Love ya.
Don't know. Didn't even notice he said it. So
he didn't say "I love you." He didn't say "love you." He said "love ya."
Yeah. Didn't look her in the eyes, did he? And go, God.
She might as well have been a pizza. It was just so throwaway. I think she said a takeaway coffee, didn't she? I think she said she felt like a. Yeah.
He said it like he was talking about the weather. Yeah.
Love you.
I'll tell you what, I do not love the weather.
It wasn't an "I love you," was it? It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Thanks, Rose. I love you. It wasn't that. It was just "love you."
No, and then poor Xander has to be the one that tells him that he said it. He still doesn't clock. When did I say it? His face is like, when the hell did I say that? Right?
I know. I can't believe he can't remember it, but I'm still struggling with Marley and Rose. I'm still struggling with their relationship and them being two adults. He says there's "love you," and she runs off to her brother and tells him and goes, "Oh, I don't know whether he meant it," or blah blah blah. Then she runs off to Irene and tells Irene, and I'm like, you've gone around half the bay. Oh, yeah. You're a police officer. You're in your 20s, 30s. I don't know how old she's supposed to be. She's an adult. She's a police officer, and she's running around the bay telling anyone that will listen, "Oh, I don't know whether Marley loves me or not." I cringe with these two. I can't. It's like they're 15 years old. I can't stand it.
I know, and she sat in the diner with her flat white having an existential crisis over this boy that said "I love you," and then when he comes round and is like, "I didn't really mean it," she's then sort of half offended, and you're like, what the hell? And then he goes, "Let's just forget it." She goes, "All right then,
it didn't happen.
Let's have a takeaway." Yeah, like,
she's fuming, really, isn't she? You can tell she's fuming.
Yeah, so I'm like, did we want him to say it or not? Like, Give me a break.
It's so juvenile. Like the fact that why does she run off and just tell people, like, oh, he said this thing? I don't know what it is about her, but she just comes across as like a spoilt little teenager sometimes. And I'm like, grow up. Like, talk. I know she tried to talk to him, didn't she? She tried to say, oh, about earlier. And he thought she was talking about something else. He said, oh, yeah, earlier when I was in a bad mood, I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for your help. And she was like, no, that's not what I meant. And then he just kind of wanders off and talks about something else. And she kind of chickens out asking him. And she did try, but it's like, oh, just have a grown-up conversation, you two. I'm getting really fed up of you acting like teenagers when you're clearly not. And she's a copper. I just don't buy it. Don't buy it. There's something really cringe about them two. When you compare them to other couples, compare them to Flick and Tane.
Yeah.
Or any of the other couples that we've had recently. I don't feel it with these two. Still, I'm not there. Are you? Do you ship them? Whatever the kids say these days.
No, I don't. We're both on the same boat. This is. Yeah. I don't feel anything. Not even a tickle.
I think Marley and Xander have got more chemistry.
Hey up. That's
quite frankly.
Twist. Plot twist.
He left me for my brother. Imagine her going around town telling everyone on the app. Jesus Christ, that'd be a week now.
That would be on the Coastal News.
Right, Si, it's that time again. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
It's another round of Your Say on the Bay. So for anyone who doesn't know what we do in this segment, we look at what you guys, the viewers of Home and Away, think about the episodes that have just aired this week. And we just, we're going to discuss your comments basically. So I've been digging through social media, reading your comments and reactions, and I'm going to read them out to Si. So brace yourself. Brace yourself, Si.
I've strapped in. I've got my seatbelt on.
Good. Oh, okay. Helmet on. Helmet, seatbelt.
God, am I going to need a helmet?
You might do. You might
I can do a shoulder pad. I can rock a shoulder pad.
Bumpy ride. Oh, shoulder pad. Yeah, that'll do. Big in 80s. We like that. Yes. So before we crack on with that, I need to remind you that we're on all the socials. So because I look on the socials, we're also on the socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads, we're on YouTube, we're also on Twitter. I will not call it the other thing. And we tweet along with the episodes that go out at 6:30 p.m. Monday to Friday on 5-star. So if you want to get involved with the chat on Twitter, on the hashtag Home and Away, feel free to do that because I'm always there up for a chat. And if you send us a comment, I might read it out on this segment. So, do you want to know what we're talking about this week, Si?
Yep.
So, first of all, obviously, Alf versus Stunning Organics.
Absolutely. Undoubtedly, yeah.
That press conference, gosh, yeah, it was quite a good episode.
It went just as well as a COVID daily conference, didn't it?
I think it went better than a COVID daily conference. Next slide, please. Next blown up photo of room. It was brilliant. So obviously there's been lots of comments on social media about this episode, mostly saying the same thing actually. So lots of comments saying this is a really good episode. And obviously lots of people saying Alf's a flaming legend because he is, and it's indisputable, isn't it? I think even people that don't watch Home and Away, you mention Alf and they go, that guy's a legend, or
Yeah.
They know him, don't they? They love him. He, he's world famous as Mr. Home and Away. And I think it is a kind of it's kind of a joke, isn't it, with a lot of the cast that when I've seen them interviewed and they say, oh yeah, I was talking to someone the other day and I mentioned that I'm on Home and Away, and they always ask, is Alf still on it? What's it like to work with Alf? They're not interested in them. They're always interested in what it's like to work with Alf, and is he still there and everything else. So it's a bit of a running joke, but I don't think there's anyone on the planet that doesn't know Ralph Stewart, is there? Not in this side of the world.
You'd be hard pushed to find someone who didn't. They might say he's on Neighbours, get the two for you confused.
Yeah, but they still say he's a flaming legend. Yeah, so he's used to get.
I'm on a Home and Away podcast. Oh, geez, Harold's still in that.
Paul and his gimpy leg. Yeah, no, it's a different show. Yeah, no. So obviously lots of people saying he's a flaming legend. This was a really good episode. And lots of people saying well done. So Roberta said, well done, Alf and Marilyn. She deserved that. She being the CEO of Stunning Organics.
Did she though? We only took over the job the day before, but okay.
Yeah, but she did show her true colours by saying she didn't care about her daughter. So I think really in a roundabout way, she's not a nice person, is she?
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah,
she's got a comeuppance, I think.
You've reined me in.
She offered her 25k to just come and say, yeah, she's great. You know, it was like, I don't think her morals are quite on. You know, if this was real, if I was taking over a job where someone had just been sacked and sent to prison and tried to blow someone up, I think I'd go in with a bit more empathy for the people that have been treated badly. She didn't have any of that, did she?
I think I'd be like, right, gang, we're having a rebrand.
Yeah, she just wanted to save face, didn't she? She was just interested in making sure that she looked good and that, you know, oh, aren't I great? I'm going to change this face of stuff. No. But anyway, enough of my opinion. Rachel said, brilliantly done, Alf. Helen said that was just brilliant. Go, Alf. Go, Alf and Marilyn. Fabulous, says Deborah. And lots of people saying, you know, you don't want to get on the wrong side of Alf. So Christine's saying, definitely don't mess with Alf. And Joshua was saying, never, ever mess with Alf. So there's a lot of people saying it was a great episode. Alf's a legend. Well done. You know, enjoyed it. And don't cross Alf, basically. That's the lesson learned, I think.
Alf should have got involved with the social media videos.
These grubs. Oh, so funny. I did love it. Did you? I know we talked about it on the main episode, but did you enjoy that episode? That conclusion?
Yeah, it was a really delicious way for the small person to win, wasn't it?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was delicious is a good way of describing it. I think it was worth it. Do I agree with that as how it should be finished? No, I've said that, but it was good. It was good to see.
Yeah, I think it was satisfying, wasn't it? The ending, really.
And it was about a father's love for his daughter. You know.
Yeah.
Like that's what made him get involved. Like.
Yeah. And that harks back to Home and Away of old, doesn't it? Really, you know, him and his family. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice to see. What about Andrew and Tegan then? So on Facebook they put a clip showing it said Tegan's coming to the bay and can Justin Lee let Andrew go? And there was a clip where, you know, Leah's saying to him, back off and just give them some space, you know, their family, let them connect and let them, you know, enjoy being together. And he's looking a bit like we were talking about in the main segment. He's looking a bit, I'm not sure this is a good idea. Who is this woman? Is she definitely his sister? A bit of trepidation going on. Yeah. So other people were commenting on this because I think the Facebook post basically said, is Justin gonna let Tegan take Andrew away? So Jan commented and said, only if they've got a DNA and supervised visits and a positive outcome. Don't do what you did before. And this is what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are still remembering the whole Margot debacle and the DNA failings of that. So Jan's not the only one that was saying this. Felicity, not the Felicity, she also commented and said, I hope she's passed the DNA check. Cherie commented and said, Andrew needs a lot of help due to what he's been through and his lack of schooling. I think it's best if he stays with Justin and Leah because they're more stable than his sister. His sister won't be able to give him the help that he needs. So I don't know whether we can judge Tegan on that yet because we're not seeing much about her. But it's a good point that she raises, Cherie, that Andrew does need a lot of help and maybe he needs
She's not quite equipped
in a family environment rather than just. I don't know. I don't think we know enough about Tegan to know whether she can handle the challenge that she's got ahead. Do we?
No, that's true. And do you think there's like scope for Tegan and Andrew to be part of the Morgan household as a package, even?
Well, a few people, this is a bit left field, have been saying that they want Tegan and Theo to hook up so that they do stay in the bay together.
All right, we're hooking people up.
Yes. So a lot of people on Facebook are saying, wouldn't it be cool if Tegan got with Theo, because then she'd have a reason to stay in the Bay, and then Andrew would have a reason to stay in the Bay and nobody would leave. Because I think, generally speaking, a lot of people are quite warm to Tegan as a character, and we've not seen much of her, but nobody's saying anything negative about her, and they're quite happy for her to stay in the Bay. And obviously, a lot of people love Andrew and don't want to see him go. I think that's the main driver. So a lot of people were commenting on Facebook saying maybe Tegan and Theo could hook up, and then Andrew could stay.
Wow, he's recently been made single, so is that the plan?
Could well be. Could well be.
They might meet in the middle of the night on their way to the fridge. Lock eyes.
Yeah, could be. Both go to grab the last bottle of whatever from the fridge.
That's my prediction, because I've been right a couple of times.
You have. I think you've got a crystal ball. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I don't know whether I necessarily want them to hook up and that to be the reason why Andrew stays in the Bay, but it would certainly be an interesting storyline, I think, wouldn't it? So what about Mercedes then? So again, there was a clip of, that scene that we just talked about on the main segment where they're in the studio, it's late at night, the rest of the band have gone home, it's just Remy and Mercedes. She's drinking from his beer, she's massaging him, and then he stands up and she goes in for the kiss. Well, a lot of people have got stuff to say about this, obviously. So
I'm not surprised, yeah.
As we said on the main podcast, everyone saw this coming. You'd have to be Blind Freddy not to, or even Blind Freddy would know this was coming. So everybody was saying basically they saw this coming a mile off. Brie was right. He needs to tell her. Lots of comments on that, and lots of things about Mercedes that weren't very complimentary. I mean, we've been talking about Mercedes on Your Sound the Bay for weeks, and she's not got many fans out there, I'll be honest. So Mary says she's smarmy, she's smirking all the time. Marguerite says Mercedes is a manipulative, spoilt brat. That's pretty much what Brie said to her, isn't it? Lynn says Mercedes is slimy and fake. But despite all the hate for Mercedes, somebody called Lee thinks that Mercedes and Remy are actually still more suited to each other, and he doesn't like needy Brie and Remy together. His words, not my words. Yeah, so that's an interesting
Swimming
one.
against the tide there, Lee. Because I was about to say, we've read a few things out about Mercedes since her arrival or you've read out, should I say, to me, and it's not been good.
It's not good. The majority of comments are that she's manipulative, she's spoiled, she's slimy, she's fake. They're not loving her. But there's the odd one or two. So like I said, Lee's chipped up and said, yeah, but she's still a better match for Remy, the needy Brie. And Nicola says that she's a fan of the violin. She says it does make the band sound better with Mercedes playing the violin. So she hasn't got all the negative comments. There are a couple. I had to go digging, but there are a couple of comments for balance.
Did you strike gold? Coal.
Coal, I think. Yeah, I did have to go digging because I try and get a bit of light and shade and light and whatever. But yeah, there are a couple, but I did have to go digging through the comments to find them. So the majority of people, I mean, it's not surprising, is it? She's trying to steal somebody else's fella.
She's a bad. Yeah, her character is supposed to be disliked, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
On the whole, yeah.
And we've been told from day one, even before she arrived, that she's a snake. You can't trust her. So.
Yeah. And there's this beef with Eden, and she's trying to split the band up. Bad Mercedes. Yeah. Even the name Mercedes has connotations. Do you not think?
It does. I think it does here. I think it does in the UK because obviously, I don't know whether it's Mercedes from Hollyoaks.
Could be.
I'm not saying that she's a terrible person now, but she certainly has done some awful things in the past in Hollyoaks that I remember. And I think that's given her that name as it's quite an unusual name, isn't it? I think. And when you only know a couple of people with that name and they tend to be a bad apple, you kind of associate that name with being a bad apple, don't you?
That's it. Yeah.
What about Jyrene?
Oh, come on. I want to know what people are saying.
Well, I think you can imagine. So there was a video clip of, when John made that lamb roast, rack of lamb, and Irene came home and she kind of did that deep breath, didn't she, at the back door, and then walked in, and he was like, "I've made you dinner." I know I said back door, and then I did it to myself.
We're childish. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Such a child.
We'll grow up at some point.
No, it's overrated. It's overrated. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, she comes home from work, doesn't she? And he's making that dinner. And she's like, "Oh wow, nobody ever cooks for me." So they showed that on the whole clip on Facebook, and everyone's lapping this up. So lots and lots of similar comments saying these two should be a real couple. So they're kind of saying what you were saying on the main episode, that lots of people want to see them together for real, not just this for laughs coupling, but everyone wants to see them hooking up. Lucy says, "I love John. He's so funny. I always look forward to watching him. He makes me laugh." Which, yeah, I think we can agree, can't we, on that one? We're not shy in saying that we love John, I don't think, on this podcast.
Yeah, and I think we need some of this comedy after recent events.
Yes, it's nice to see it. Where there's always a Flick and Tane scene, and then there's a John and Irene scene after.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a few times this week, or the other way around. Like, you're laughing, and then you go into a sad scene. You're like, okay.
Yeah,
because
it is nice. Very intense, isn't it? The other stuff that's going on. It's really, it is really, really difficult, issues stuff.
Yes.
And quite emotive stuff we're watching.
Yeah.
It does balance it out a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle says they are so sweet together, and if him and Marilyn don't work out, I'm definitely shipping these two together. They are so cute. So I think Michelle's a bit like me in thinking that, I've still got John pegged as Marilyn's fella. Even though they're not been together for years, in my mind, there's still that little glimmer of hope that one day they'll reconcile. I'm hoping it happens at Jet's wedding. I'm hoping the romance of the wedding ignites John and Marilyn. But if Irene's there as a third wheel, I can't see that happening, really, to be honest. But there we go. I don't know. So there's other people that would, are shipping the Marilyn reunion, but if not, him and Irene together would be fine. Pauline is back. Are you ready?
Oh, God.
Pauline has got an opinion on Irene. So Pauline says, "It's a great idea. They have grown into each other by now, and with the possibility they could get married and stay married as a good example to all the bed hoppers in all of these soaps."
Oh, quite serious, that. Quite ticking off there from Pauline.
It is a bit. I did tell you that a lot of people are not happy with the bed hopping and the sexiness and the rompy scenes in Home and Away, and they think it's all a bit too much sex and not enough coupley things.
Does that tend to be the audience over a certain age?
I think it might be, yeah, certain demographic of the audience.
Right, yeah. No offense meant.
Yeah.
People.
No. So yeah, that was Irene. Flick and Tane. Oh my God, they played that clip on Facebook of them on the beach. I think we mentioned it in the main episode.
Yeah.
Where Tane's not himself, and he's saying to her that he's struggling, and he's kind of beating himself up and saying, "I wasn't there, and you're incredible, and it's me." And she's like, listening to him, and he's basically being really honest about how he's feeling, which is a really nice thing to see. We talked about it on the main episode.
Yeah.
But Lorraine's commented and said, "Oh heck, that reduced me to tears again. Tane's really struggling. I hope the worst is over for these two now. Absolutely excellent acting again by all involved." So I think that pretty much sums up.
And what more is there to say? I think we all agree, don't we?
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I've not heard anyone. Everybody has. That's really nice. Everyone. I've seen loads of comments and I've heard loads of things online about the performances and about how great the actors have done with it, how well written it is. Like, what more can you ask for?
Yeah.
Praise absolutely. For a job well done.
Absolutely. I just hope the deadline for the Inside Soap Wars has passed now. So we did tweet the link to vote a few times over the last month. I just hope that people have actually done it. I know there's a lot more people that watch the other soaps, but if we can rally round and, you know, get a vote for Home and Away, that'd be incredible, wouldn't it? Because I think
some recognition for these people.
Absolutely. I think any of the 4 that were nominated would deserve it, honestly, for the year that we've had. So yeah, absolutely. And then to end this week's Your Say on the Bay, we're going back to Pauline.
Oh, twice in 1 week.
Twice in 1 week. I know we're getting spoiled this week.
Spoiling me now. Yeah.
I know. So Pauline's Pearl of Wisdom to end the show this week is about Tane and Flick and this scene. She says, "Be there for each other, you daft apiths. Love of a lifetime is the miracle of human beings. We lost the plot like children in a sweet shop. One flavour tops all." Kiss. I love this. I love you. Pauline, I don't know whether you listen to the podcast, but if you do, please know that I love you. Please keep commenting. I learn so much from you every week, and I just adore you. I think you're brilliant. So,
yeah, you're flaming apith.
We lost the plot like children in the sweet shop. One flavour tops it all. Amazing.
What does that even mean, Pauline?
Just interpret it however you please and go about your day.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.